And welcome back to Millennium TV 24. And if you know what I know, we have a special guest here today. Her name is Vanessa Gibson. We just need her to turn her video on so we can see her beautiful face. Yes, her melanin is glowing. Her smile is amazing. And I am so happy to have her here on the Good Looking News with Millennium TV 24. Miss Vanessa Gibson. Hi, how are you?
I am good. Thank you for having me on Millennium today. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you are welcome. We are so happy to have you. We've been wanting you to be a part of this for a very long time, but I know you're such a busy woman. You are still city council. However, you just was elected for Bronx Borough President. Am I right or what?
So I was declared the winner in the Democratic primary in June of this year. So I'm officially the Democratic nominee for Bronx Borough President. I am on the ballot for the upcoming November 2nd general election. I have two challenges on the Republican and conservative line. So
Okay.
after the November 2nd election, which I encourage everyone to be a part of and exercise your right to vote, once that happens and I'm declared the winner, I will take office January 1st as the new Bronx Borough President.
Yes. So who are you against? Who's the other candidates?
So I'm not familiar with one candidate. The young lady's name is Janelle King,
Okay.
and the conservative candidate is someone that was on the Democratic line named Sammy Rebello that I know, who's on the conservative line for the general.
Well, I have no doubts that you will be definitely nominated. You have put in so much work, especially here in the Bronx, and we appreciate you. Can you compare the two different positions that you are now and what the Bronx president actually does?
Sure. So for the past 8 years, since 2013, I've been honored to serve the residents of District 16 in the West Bronx as their council member, dealing with a number of city issues as the representative at City Hall. We've worked on legislative agenda. We've worked on budgets at the City Council. I've chaired numerous committees, including the Committee on Public Safety, the Committee on Oversight and Investigation, as well as the Subcommittee on Capital. Now I currently serve as the co-chair of the Women's Caucus. I am a deputy leader, and I'm also on the budget and negotiating team.
Nice.
I'm a member of 7 different committees in the city council, but the role of a council member is to deal with land use issues, to deal with transfer of ownership of city-owned land. We do commissioner of deed applications. We pass a budget at the city council for the entire city of New York. The mayor proposes the budget, but the city council passes it. We do constituent services. We help residents of our district navigate the city process, city agencies, whether it's access to benefits, food stamps, whether it's public assistance, dealing with school issues, safety transfers, housing, quality of life issues, public safety. We do it all. We deal with every city agency, including the Department of Transportation, Department of
Wow.
Ed, school construction, everybody. We do everything.
Everything.
We
Oh.
do everything. We also make recommendations to the local community board, which is important for us. And we also work with all of our precincts in our district and housing. So we do a lot of work. But now, as I leave the city council and close this chapter, taking over as the borough president is going to be enormous. 1.5
Yes.
million residents, a lot of challenges, but Ruben Diaz Jr. has done great work in the past 12 years. So carrying on a lot of his priorities in terms of housing and infrastructure, serving as the next Bronx Borough president, making sure the office is diverse. We have,
Yes.
just a lot of different candidates that, reflect our borough that we represent, and really making sure that we have a borough hall for all.
Yes, well, we are excited. Again, like there's no doubt in my mind. I know that you're going to win this election, and to be the first, not just the first woman, but the first black woman. How many challenges, and how many people were doubting that this would even occur when you were running?
So when we decided to run for Bronx Borough president, it was over a year and a half ago before the pandemic hit. And we knew that it would be a challenge because we've recognized for a long time that the borough of the Bronx has been led predominantly by white men. And for the last several decades, Latino men. And they've served the Bronx ably and well in their leadership and during their time. But what you're seeing now across the country are Black and Latino women running for offices never designed for them. And I think when you look across the country, what happened in Georgia, where you have Kamala Harris as the vice president, you had Stacey Abrams, pretty much capture the U.S. Senate with the elections, Raphael Warnock and, John Ossoff. And now we have Chuck Schumer as the U.S. Majority Leader. Women are running for offices like never before.
Right.
We have incredible leadership right here in New York State with the Attorney General, Tish James, with our Bronx District Attorney, Darcel Clark, and now the first female governor in the history of New York State,
Right.
Kathy Hochul.
Right.
It's happening. And so it gives women a chance to shine, to show the world what we're made of, that we govern different. And so I had all of this in mind as I decided to run for borough president. There were a lot of good people with me, a lot of my supporters during my council and previously assembly time that were with me. But a lot of people doubted I could raise the money. They doubted I could run a successful campaign. And a lot of people kept saying, well, this is a Latino borough. How are you going to get the Latinos on support? Not knowing that I have Latinos supporting me for years.
For years, hello, right.
Years. And so it was no different than supporting me for the council, now supporting me for a new position, particularly constituents who have seen my work. So I knew I would have a challenge outside the district, going to other areas in the East Bronx, the Northeast, the West Bronx, people that don't know me and don't know my story and my work. But I had a lot of credible messengers that jumped on board, but the unions and elected officials like Richie Torres and Jimmy Baca that stood with me and said, she's the best candidate. So during the campaign, we knocked on doors. It was the pandemic, so we had to be very safe and careful. We raised money. We got the most union endorsements, the most elected officials, and we just outworked everybody. We knocked on a lot of doors, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy when people sometimes were being very negative, and sometimes people were being downright racist. They were saying that I didn't deserve this seat because of what I look like, not because of who I am. And I can't change who God made me to be. I am who I am, and I'm proud of that. And I want people to see my work and not see me as a African-American, Caribbean-American woman, but seeing me as a woman of color that looks like them, that represents their community. And so the voters spoke, and we won by over 500 votes compared to our challengers. And I'm really proud of that because we now have our assignment. We know the work that needs to be done. And we're stepping into this role under a lot of challenge, a lot of uncertainty, a city that's growing unaffordable. Violence is out of control. And people want, but most of all, Ken, they want people to do their job. If you do your job, the people will stand with you.
Absolutely. You got me all teary-eyed, and my, I got goosebumps and stuff just hearing you speak, and in regards to how you were treated, but you still keep going, you still keep pushing. What was it that made you want to get into politics? I know you had some great mentors, Miss Green being one of them. May we, send our condolences to the family. May she rest in peace. But give us some background. Like, how did you, as a young Black woman, want to become into politics?
So I actually did not want to enter politics. I was a high school student at Murray Bertram in Lower Manhattan. And my senior year, I applied for college. My mom pushed me to go to college, and I wanted to go away. So I applied to SUNY schools upstate, and I got accepted to the University at Albany. So I went to SUNY, and during my senior year, I learned about an internship with the New York State Assembly. And it was 15 credits. You got a stipend. And I actually needed 15 credits to graduate. And I said, this sounds really cool. I knew Albany was the capital of New York State, but I didn't know much about the legislative office building in downtown Albany because our campus was uptown Albany, it wasn't downtown.
Right.
So I applied with two friends, and we all got accepted. And I got assigned to work for Aurelia Green because I'm not a native of the Bronx. And I learned about her, and I learned about her history, her advocacy as a parent leader, as a PTA leader during the 70s and 80s. And I was like, wow, this is kind of dope. And she was really a down-to-earth woman. She was a woman of faith, a woman of courage. She knew, God was using her in a mighty way. And I think for me, it was a chance to learn from someone that looked like me. And she gave me a chance, and she really gave me a lot of latitude. So she would push me, meet with these elected officials, represent me at this committee meeting, prepare my calendar for session. I did all of that. And after the internship ended and I graduated with my bachelor's, I needed a job. I had nowhere to go. Most of my friends moved back to New York City. I said, let me stay in Albany. I mean, I'll stay here. I got an apartment in downtown Albany, and she gave me a job. Wow. And that's what transformed my life. And that job led me to work for her for several years until she decided to leave the assembly and join Ruben Diaz. As he was elected borough president in 2009, she became his deputy. Okay. And they both left the assembly at the same time in 2009. And I was in graduate school at the time, working for her, going to school at night, getting my master's degree. And she came to me and said, I would like you to consider running for the assembly seat. And I said, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I never thought of my wildest dreams. I said, no, I want to be behind the scenes, because behind the scenes, you know, they know everything.
Exactly.
It was the people, yeah. And I felt like I wasn't perfect. I don't know if I could do this. And she said, I've trained you. I believe in you, and I know you can do this work. And I said, wow, if she has so much confidence in me, how can I tell her no? And, you know, as I look back years later, I get emotional because she was the best teacher I could have ever asked God to give me at the time that he did. And while she transitioned on May 8th of this year, she lives on in my heart. I carry her with me. I have her, you know, this card that just, you know, just shows like she's my mother. She's everything for me and everything she meant to me. And it's exactly what every young girl needs. Every young girl needs a mentor like I had. And she invested in me. She took me by the hand. She never let me go. And she taught me her teachings and her lessons. And I'll never forget that. And that is what has propelled me. It propelled me to run for her assembly seat, to win in 2009, to serve for 4 years, then to run for the city council in 2013 when a seat became available, to serve for 8 years, and decide to run for Bronx Borough president. It's been a natural, you know, sense of progression because of, you know, incredible women like Aurelia Green and the Honorable Helen Diane Foster.
Yes, yes. Ms. Green has been great to my mother as well and the family. So I definitely want to thank you, you know, thank her for that. I got to say that on TV. And, you know, so Vanessa, but I've seen you doing some other things. I see you in the schools. We've seen each other at CS 55 being one of them. Principal, I would say president. Principal Torres, he is the president though. He's awesome. And you're a big fan of hip hop. And I know you assisted Grandmaster Cass this past summer with going back to the Crotona jams. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some hip hop.
So I love hip hop. I grew up in hip hop, just like many others. I know the history. The Bronx is the birthplace of hip hop. In 2017, I joined Ruben Diaz Jr. and Hot 97, and we renamed Sedgwick Avenue, 1520 Sedgwick, as Hip Hop Boulevard. We joined DJ Kool Herc, Grandmaster Kaz, Grandmaster Melly Mel, Theodore Grand Wizard, so many of our pioneers that never forgot the Bronx. Fat Joe, Remy Ma. I mean, they always come back, they give back, they look out, because they know that it was because of the Bronx that they are where they are today. But hip hop has been not just music, it's been career oriented. It's been a whole generation of rappers, of engineers, of producers. It's been a genre that none of us ever could imagine would grow to where it is today. This multi-billion-dollar industry that has transformed lives. Cardi B, A Boogie from Highbridge, Fat Joe from Forest, Remy from the Bronx. I mean, all of these incredible icons that are from our borough that never forget the Bronx. And so what I also did was I joined with Windows of Hip Hop, because Melissa LeBron and Grandmaster Kaz and Melly Mel are my friends and my family. And we work with Principal Louis Torres, the principal of CS 55. And we put in money in the budget 2 years ago to build out a new music studio for the students of 55.
I was
because
there.
We know, you were there, because we know everybody may not be the rapper, right? But you can make just as much money as the engineer, the producer.
Actually, like more, believe it or not.
Honestly, you do make more. You do make more. And so I just want our kids to think big and dream big. You could be anything you want. These rappers came from our neighborhood. A Boogie went to 126 in Highbridge, right? They went to schools in our community, just like you did. And you can be that next rapper. You can be that next artist, that next singer. It doesn't matter. Like, all we need to give our kids is access and opportunity. So that is what I love. Also working with Rocky Bucano at the Universal Hip Hop Museum, which is going to be opening in another couple of years on the west side near Mill Pond Park. And that's going to be tremendous. It's going to bring jobs. It's going to have a museum, so we could just kind of like cement hip hop in history. Just like we have museums for everything else, we need our own hip hop museum right in the Bronx. So I'm proud of that. I'm going to always do everything to elevate hip hop. Joining with Kaz, we join with Friends of Crotona Park every year, and Tools of War, and we host concerts in Crotona Park in the month of August. And we have, we have like DJ Hollywood, we have DJ Kid Capri, we have so many artists, DJ Jazzy Joy. Everybody comes through, and it's just amazing to see the love. It's just amazing to have the camaraderie. I love it.
It is, and it's peaceful. You're not gonna go there to start any trouble. It's all love. Definitely the love for hip hop. You see the love for music. You see the love in the community. It's just, and shout out to you. Shout out to Grandmaster Cass for all he does as well for the community and hip hop. We appreciate y'all. So, Miss Vanessa Gibson, what advice would you give another young girl who may want to be following in your footsteps?
If I could encourage any young lady out there that desires to run for elected office, that wants to serve their community, I encourage you to stand in your purpose. Know that you are valued and you are worthy. You are destined for success. Never let anyone stand in the way of your success. The only barrier to your success is you. If you allow people to determine who you are and define who you are, that is on you. Never let anyone determine what you want to do in this world. Many of us come from challenging backgrounds and challenging circumstances, and we all have a story and a testimony to tell. But we are here through the grace of God, through hard work and perseverance and never giving up. Not letting the haters on the sidelines define who we are, but the influencers uplift us and motivate us. I encourage you to find a mentor. Volunteer. If you want to be a doctor or a nurse, volunteer at the healthcare center, volunteer at the hospital. There's nothing wrong with volunteering, because that door will open up to so many other doors, right? You're not going to be always blessed with $100,000 job that will fall in your lap. Sometimes it could happen, but not all the time. Right. But hard work will always pay off. So I share with all of you ladies, young queens, young princesses, you are destined for success. Stand in purpose. Know that you have something to give back, and never let anyone tell you otherwise. You are valued. You are worthy. Hold your head up high and be proud. Your circumstances do not determine your future. If someone knocks you down, you get back up again, and you stand up and you persevere and you push and you fight. Whether you're a single mother, you're a wife, you're a mother, you're working 2 jobs, trying to hold it down for your family, raising your kids, you hold it down, because that's what women do. We are designed uniquely to do this great work, because that's who we are as women. So I encourage you, my sisters, to continue to stand in your purpose and know that you are destined and ordained for success.
That's right. You heard it here on the Good Looking News. But Vanessa, please let them know where they can find you, how they can help you, if you still need any assistance for this upcoming election, and when and how they can vote, which is very important.
Sure. So my campaign website is www.gibsonbp2021.com, and you can follow me on all social media handles: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. My campaign handle is GibsonBP2021, but my personal handles is Vanessa L. Gibson, Miss Vanessa 77, and Vanessa L. Gibson on all my social media. You can Google me, you can look me up. My district office government is 1377 Jerome Avenue at the corner of 170. Our phone number is 718-588-7500. You can email us, you can send us a note. People reach out to me all the time about how they can help, volunteer. We encourage you. Early voting is going to start October 23rd, I believe. It's 9 days in advance of November 2nd. You have an early voting polling site, but you also have a traditional polling site that you can go to on November 2nd. So either early voting 9 days, or the election is Tuesday, November 2nd. I am the Democratic nominee for Bronx Borough President. I am asking you to stand with me, join me, walk with me, forward together, Bronx, so that I can become your next leader, your voice, your Bronx Borough President, so that we can take the Bronx to the next level. We have a lot of challenges. We have a lot of issues. We got a lot of work to do, and I want to be your Bronx Borough President, because the Bronx is ready for new leadership. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Absolutely. We are definitely ready for new leadership. Yes, and I'm ready for you to be a part of it and handle it. So we need you. Make sure you guys go out there and vote, please. You heard it here on Millennium TV 24 on the Good Looking News. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, Vanessa. We appreciate your time. Just wait right there until we go into break. Thank you.